Welcome to OARS channel. I'm Millennial and I'm gonna be sharing with you two very special guests, Brookes and Aaron. Both of them come from two different environment, brought up in very harsh. One is from Germany and in Singapore here. Another guy from a mainland. I don't know which mainland, but for you to go and find out. This channel is going to be done in a very different way. All of us here is trying to impact the community to find out what is that value that each and every one of us should follow. It's for you to find out and do check it out. Yeah. Then you guys also were saying that a lot of time, you see, a lot of youths out there, they tend to are lost. Sometimes they do not share their experience with their problems with their family. Do you all actually share it with your parents? Brookes, do you?
Okay, this is something that I actually experienced personally. Like it's a very personal thing. Okay, so China family, okay,
Yeah.
Stereotype. China family is what? Strict, or cannot go out. You don't need to get A for everything. That is my family. Okay, and my parents are 2 PhDs, so it's even higher expectation. You know, when I was surrounded by all these people, tell me, wow, Bolun, you need to get PhD, what all these things, and I mean, it was never my goal. Like I just okay, but it wasn't really like I don't even really. It's not my goal to become to get a philosophical degree, but when I think. Okay, when we want to share with parents, right? So that was the question. I'll say at the start, I don't share anything with my parents, because when you were in your teenage years, and mine was pretty long, like my rebellious stage was pretty long. So I didn't tell my parents anything. I want to go out, they don't let me go out, and I want to go to do this thing, they let me. I want to buy this thing, they let me buy this thing, and it's basically I was more or less kept at home for my entire secondary school. But afterwards, I realized, actually there is a virtue in that. In that you realize that many social interactions don't hold much value. You know, you go out with friends, you have fun, right? But you cannot be just doing it every day. Number one, you're spending too much money, and number two, what is it you're learning from all this? I mean, I'm not being. You need to have a goal to do that. Then it's like, wow, you're a scheming person or calculative. No, don't have to. It's just really, what is it that gives you the energy? Because everybody has 24 hours a day. If you spend half your time playing, then what about it? You still have to spend 8 hours sleeping, right? So really just use the time wisely, and that is what my parents taught me afterwards. But right now, I'm really still learning how to be extremely grateful to what my parents have, because I feel that, I mean, there is always somebody in this world who is worse off than you. No matter how bad your situation is, there is always somebody who has a worse situation than you.
Yeah.
And we need to understand that, and we need really to feel really grateful for what our parents has given us. And I mean, we don't have to share everything with them. Yeah, we can keep our secrets, but it really is, we need to show them that we are appreciative and grateful for their efforts for of course raising us and bringing us, letting us to be still safe and alive at this point of time.
Correct. At least they give you a place to stay, a place to sleep. Yeah. Aaron, what about you?
I think my parents provided me with a sense of calmness, of everything will kind of work its way out. And of course they also did so by ensuring me whenever something goes wrong, I know I can come back to my parents and sleep at their place or live with them for a while. So what's the worst thing that then could happen? So I think that gave me the necessary openness, because I knew, like, my parents have got my back, so now I can venture out and just try things. That being said though, as Brookes pointed out, I think it's very important that we find those people who not only support us, but who see the world from a similar to ours perspective. Because that's what is most difficult for our parents to, after having lived like quite a while longer than we have, it's much more difficult for them to change their perspective and look from our eyes. So it's much easier if we find other people, because we can control our surroundings in a certain way. We find people who already look in a similar direction from a similar perspective. And yeah, I think once that happens, once we realize our parents have our backs ideally, and even if they don't, they took us up to a point where we can look forward and where we can, like, if you for yourself come to the realization that you're not the product of your circumstances, of the surroundings, but rather that you decide who you are, how you emotionally feel, how you respond to a situation. Once you get to that point, you can already be extremely grateful that your parents got you where you are today. Because no one else brought you to life, no one else brought you into this world. So from there on, I think we find the right people. If we find a community that our parents may not necessarily provide for us, then that's where literally we can change the world.
And I think that's I think both of you all pointed out, when we met 9 a.m. at Clementi to eat, what's that thing called? Yeah, to eat carrot cake. and that's how I actually got to know Aaron and Brookes, but also before that I met them in another event called 20 and Free.
Where Daniel was an incredible speaker.
and that's something that I do personally wanted to get this whole video done, is to actually impact the millennials. I think at the end of the day, all three of us have the same common goal, which is what you have mentioned, that connection to actually impact the community and control the people around us, because our parents actually they are brought up in a very different era compared to ours, and we are very, very close to the millennials and almost also like millennials in a way, and somehow sometimes our parents don't actually understand where we come from, but of course I think all of us have this a group of friends that some parents are not around anymore, some are brought up in a single home, a single family, single parent, and then at the same time some of them are not close to either their mom or their dad. So in your point of view, what is that advice to this group of people that they are not close to their parents, but we understand that yes, they brought us to life, they give us pocket money, they give us shelter, but along the way when we actually grow up in their primary school, they beat us, they whack us, they don't buy this, they don't buy that, they smoke, they drink, but there's some people that are being brought up at this environment, and there are some people also being brought up in an environment where they don't have a fixed home. So they always, every 6 months, every year, they shift from a relative place to another relative place and to their friend's place, and there is no fixed environment for this group of youth. And what is that advice that you would like to actually let those people that are actually facing this situation, how should they actually cope with it and to basically bring up that courage to actually be very open to their parents, or even step up of their comfort zone?
I think I would break it down, if you don't mind me answering. I think I would break it down to 2 points, 2 steps. The first step is find focus. Find some line on the horizon that you always know that will be there. It might be your passion, what you're passionate about. It might be something that you're just really good at. It could even be a close friend that you really look up to. If that's your focus line, then let it be that for a while. But while your surroundings, where you're at, shifts constantly, you have to have that steady line at the horizon where you know I'm working towards that. So if it's a friend, choose a friend who's been a long-term friend, choose someone who's got a very clear vision of his life. And once you get that focus, once you know you want to go to that certain point, find a group of people who supports you getting there. And I think literally if we have that, if we have vision, a sense for purpose, for belonging, for like or more purpose, then we get the sense of belonging from our community. That's how we can achieve like the wildest dreams. What you dream of right now, 10 years from now, will be ridiculous because you've long surpassed it by then. But take that step up first, walk towards your dreams, find focus, find a community, I would say.
Brookes, yourself?
I would say it's very easy for us to say,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right? But
totally.
when, I mean, you can be thinking that, oh my god, I mean, this insurance, these three people don't know what the hell is going on. But you don't know our story.
Yeah.
You don't know our story, right? But we are not here to teach you what you should do, right? We are just here to share our experiences because Millennial invited us here. And I feel that regarding that, okay, it's something very, very tough and it's very different for many people, okay? And I have friends who are in this kind of situations. And honestly, right, speaking, it's very hard to change a person's beliefs, a person's values, and a person's personality because it's formed over years and years, right? And that is being shaped by constant like speech or action through your surrounding environments. And when you're younger, the environment you're around is mostly your family, right? And for most people, right? And that's when, if let's say your family is a negative environment, then that's all you've been infused with, and your beliefs and everything, right? So, and this was taught to me by a friend. He's called Clinton. Okay, so he said, you don't try to change the beliefs and personalities and values because it's almost impossible, right? And it's going to take a very, very long time. So we can choose to do 15 minutes of, say, meditation, or even say reading a book that is going to help us with our personality and our character, right? And I strongly believe there's 3 different types of health. There is physical health, mental health, and spiritual health, right? And I mean, the first 2 is pretty much self-explanatory, but spiritual health is something people always neglect. It's the health of our soul, our spirit, and there are people who don't believe it, and it's totally fine, right? But I feel, okay, that certain religions or certain practices that people do, or like these ritual things, those are all for our spirit. So it's a spirit that you are trying to nurture. And I mean, many of us, audience, may feel that, oh, spiritual health, it's something so abstract, it's nonsense, like, oh, you have those monks going somewhere and meditating. But I do know a person who does that. He has experience out of body experience. So his spirit came out, his soul came out, and then he has been around where his body is still there, but he has been around the place. So he was meditating in the Himalayas then, right, many years ago. And then he was telling me this, and that's when I learned meditation.
Do you even did meditation before?
Meditation is really, I've never ever thought about doing it. I don't even know what it is. Like you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even know what it is. But after I met this person, he taught me about the different chakras in your body and about the cosmic energy. It all seems very, 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 very fluffy. It's all fluff. But honestly, you don't have to understand. Don't even have to believe it. Just do it first, right? If it works for you, then it works.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work for you, then okay, so be it, right? But I feel that really, it really is about understanding yourself, right? And feeling, and feeling how you are as a person in this environment that we are supposed to be. So I mean, don't try to think about, oh, need to counter your parents, or you need to fight back, or you need to argue back. Really, just choose what to feel. If you really cannot be in that kind of environment, choose not to be in that kind of environment. But if you don't have a choice, then there is something that we can control, which is our thoughts, our actions. And if you are able to nurture your spirit, you can create this wall around yourself that filters out the negative emotions and negative things. But that being said, it's not something very easy, and you do need a spiritual guide to help us with our mental state and our spiritual state. Yeah.
And that's because a lot of my I have a lot of friends, and even for myself personally, I've been going through a lot of tough time when I was in secondary school, and up to today I have so many friends that are of that position, because some of them they are not very close with their parents. Their parents are divorced, the mother is just taking care of them, and these two girls are still trying to find ways to identify what they want to do in life. There are some also, both of their parents are religious leaders, but their kids are not. So there are a lot of obstacles for ourselves or all of our peers are facing that problem. And the reason why today, and when we were actually sharing at Clementi's, that touches my heart is you all found that silver lining in your own personal life. Because Brookes, you may go through a certain path. You may be your education journey may be very smooth, but your personal grooming in terms of personal self-awareness is still struggling. But at times you have come to a point where you actually shared, when you were in your room, you actually broke down, and that's how you found out that, hey, it's time to actually do something. And that was your changing point. And for yourself, you were at your train station where there's no one around, and you found that book, and that book actually helped. So both of you all have very, very different path to achieving a common goal, which is why three of us are actually having this conversation, even because all of us, like what you have mentioned, has that common vision, and it took us so many trial and errors to actually achieve that. And all of us are only barely in our 20s only, and we will say that we are the young YOLO typical kids trying to change the world and going to take over the working force and so on. And I think what you guys have mentioned, and through your own personal experience, really thank you so much for sharing that to everyone. The third question that I would actually like to ask would be, what would you do if your parents actually give up hope on you? What happens if that happens? Because like what you guys mentioned, you do not know what you don't know. You only know what you know with the people around you, and everything's not in your subconscious. So what happens if your parents give up on you, number one. Number two, or your parents are not around, and the environment, which is where you are coming from, somehow just cut off. There are people that their environment just got cut off, and that's where there are some people totally lost hope in life and basically do things that are totally off the charts. So what happens if you are being placed in that position? What will you do?
I've never thought about that, but there was this conversation I had with my mom, and it was during my first year in the entrepreneurship journey, and she was threatening to kick me out of the house. So we were doing this face to face, and then at a point of time, my heart sank because I felt, house what should I do? But immediately my mind came up with answers. So at the point of time, I was okay. Who can I find to find a house to stay? Who can I find to lodge with first before I find my subsequent rent? And all this, it just comes and goes. And I think this is a mental process that we have to train. And it's not something that comes very easily. Like most of us, we don't actually humans don't like to think one. Like we just want to stay there and just
in our empty box, our empty box, and just
just okay lor, watch some video, see some people walking around. But when you're asked to go and think, so it's like you say, okay, so what if I kill your house? Why? Then how? Then you have to think, right? We have to think, okay, what solutions? What do I go? Okay, if I go to this friend, then if he rejects me or he has no space, then how? So we have to keep coming up with answers, and this process, right, is actually, it can be trained, and it's something that I feel that is, I was actually pretty blessed with this community and this journey that I've been through that has allowed me to see that there's always two sides to things. You know, there's always the way that we see that, oh, your parents kick you out, oh, I think you start to panic, or your parents just pass away, or what, and you start to panic and you don't know what to do, and you start crying and breaking down. You either do that, or you take control of your actions, take control of your environment, take control of yourself. You know, you tell yourself that, okay, if I don't do this, who is going to do it for me, right? And you have to be the person you control, because you're forced to put in that kind of situation. And yeah, I mean, that being said, I've never thought about that question, but that was one point that I was really forced to feel that, have my parents really given up on me, right? But turning around a few weeks, a few months later, I was thinking about it, and I feel that actually it's not because my parents have given up. It's actually because they feel that I'm going down the wrong path, and that is their way of dragging me back. Because honestly speaking, 50 years of experience didn't come free, right? I mean, we are only 20 plus. They've lived half their lives, they are twice as old as us, they have twice as much experience as us, and most of the time, our parents see people better, right? So if the fortunate ones do have parents, and I mean the parents are willing to talk to them, talk to them more, understand about them, because everybody is a learning opportunity. Everything is a learning opportunity. Doesn't mean your parents cannot teach you anything. If somebody else talk to their parents, they might realize, these two people, wow, very good.
Yeah. And what about you?
Wow, Brookes has touched a couple of very important points. So I think the one thing that stuck with me is that everyone has got their own perspective to things, and to me it helps a lot understanding that, or it's a personal belief that no one does something purely out of evil thought, out of like he's just a bad person. He or she, even though it might be your parents and you don't understand them, they'll have the very good causes for doing whatever it is. It might even be out of protection. It might be that they think they can't help you at that point. But literally whatever it is, it's just a person trying to find the best solution. Because we know ourselves, we never ever decide for the worst solution. If I've got two paths to take and one looks glorious and like the good thing and one looks like the bad thing, we'll always try to do the good thing, always.
Yeah.
But it's just that from our perspective, something might seem good and from yours it might seem bad. So it's knowing that no human being is inherently evil, I believe that. And then finding someone who you know is at least willing to talk to you and put down things on a rational level. Because even if we're abandoned by every single person in the world, there is no worst case scenario and then everything is over. There's always a next step that we can take. And sometimes, yes, it's not the giant leap, like from being an abandoned child to becoming a multi-million-dollar guy, but from being abandoned at some point and then finding someone who sees something greater in you, finding that silver lining on the horizon. I think it's always there, and it's upon us to look out for it, to stay on track, to look at another corner and be curious about that.
So something that I think you guys touch on is, at the end, did your parents actually chase you out?
No.
No? For you, did your parents actually chase you out?
No, I didn't.
No? For me, guess how many times my parents actually chased me out? 5.
Wow.
More than that.
Really?
When I was in secondary school, when I was in Sec 2, I kind of, sometimes in terms if I can't study well, I will struggle. Okay, that's a part of the story, but I have a very relationship issue with my parents at times. My mom may be over crazy at times, but I know that deep down in her, she has that love and concern for her children. Basically coming out from her stomach, is that kind. So I understand, but at times where all of us are very pissed off with our parents, you will just take action immediately, which is why she said, because I couldn't stand her temper, So, because small little things, she will be very annoyed, and then she will just scream and yell at the top of her voice. Even our neighbors can hear that kind. Over the block also can hear. And that's something that I hated a lot. And there was that point in time, that's why my mom, if you can't stand my temper, the door is over there, just leave and don't come back. And that was the reason why I left. And it was so many times that I did it. Sometimes I don't come back 1 month, 2 months. Sometimes even now I do reflect. Even today is her birthday. I up to today I'm still struggling to find that peace mode with her. But you know, at times you will still, because you have reached to a certain maturity, you will know how to balance out. But you know, deep down sometimes, deep down right inside, I know everyone out there also may have that, even yourself, have that deep down struggle that you just somehow, no matter how much you smash through, it's very difficult. There's no words to describe it. So that's something that I think a lot of people are facing, because they are finding a lot of ways, friends to actually help them, but they just can't. And that's the reason why I actually left the place and I couldn't. So I went to my grandparents' place and stayed. There was one time, it was 3-4 a.m. I don't know, I can't remember, but I only can remember vividly is she came into my room 3 a.m. She took my laptop, smashed on the floor, chased me out of the house. I can't remember what I did. I think I defied her. I immediately took my stuff. I walked all the way, because I stay at Hougang. I will walk all the way to Sengkang to actually meet my secondary school friends, and I stayed there. Then in the morning I took a cab down to my grandparents' place. And yeah, actually all this very personal, but yeah, okay. So,
I'm sorry. What day is today?
Today is Monday.
Yeah, 16?
Yeah, 16.
Just remembered it's my mom's birthday as well.
Today's your mom's birthday? Okay, so today I'm going to launch the video out. Okay, but anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mom. I know you're going to see this, but I'm going to have dinner with you. But I think maybe when you watch this dinner, I've already done dinner with you. And I felt yesterday I was at McDonald's with her. She actually tried to drag me. Because from Monday to Sunday, my whole day I only had 2 hours of sleep, trying to get things done, juggling too many things already. And my father actually asked this question. You know tomorrow what day? No? Yeah, I know. Oh, damn. Then I remember that we're supposed to have a family dinner, and I've already arranged a dinner with my friends. Then after that, she felt, so you forgotten? You know, if she said this, if you continue to say, you were going to pierce more needles in her heart, and yeah, and that's something. Yeah, I'm going to have dinner with her later.
So you cancelled dinner with your friends?
Yeah, I kind of push it towards
cool.
late night, so at least I spend time with her. And wow, today is your mom's birthday.
Yeah, I know I put it down in my calendar, but I'm glad you reminded me.
Wow.
Very funny.
I think you better do something about it, you know.
And good thing is Germany, the time zone is 6 hours earlier, so I still have
You still have time. You still have time. Okay, good. And that's something that you see. Sometimes our parents, we may hate our parents so much. We may dislike what they are doing. We do not like the way they are in terms of character, attitude, in terms of how they are handling certain things, in terms of teaching you. But deep down, ask yourself this question. At the end of the day, without them, will you be here? Would 3 of us be here? The answer is no. So, I know this may like what Brookes has mentioned, 3 of us may only be in our 20s trying to come here to actually share about what we are doing, but at the end of the day, all 3 of us here are really trying to impact the community. And that's what OARS is all about, because OARS, OARS, is taking ownership in everything we do and be accountable for it. And at the end of the day, you've got to be reliable. Then from there, go and serve others. And that is something that all of us needs to really hold on, these 4 core values. Although you may have other values, of course, trustworthy and so on. But these are some four main principles for us to actually point us in the right direction. But at the end of the day, do go and reflect upon your parents. You may have a single mom or single dad, or you may both have both of your parents right here today, but how long would they be here for? Have you all asked this question? How long will they be around? Or do you want to wait till they are on their deathbed to do something about it? Yeah, so that's that question that you all should ask yourself. And I'm very thankful for Brookes and Aaron to be here to share about their very personal life story. All of them have so much more to share, but of course in our next episode we will dive deeper with them to actually identify what they are actually doing on a summary point of view of what we have done. We will, on the next upcoming episode, do stay tuned to actually check out what Brookes what is he doing in his entrepreneurial journey, and what Aaron is doing for his parkour community, which is what's that community called?
Urban Freeflow.
Urban Freeflow. So do check out Facebook to add. There's 220,000 over people.
Join these people. Parkour. It's gonna be important.
Yeah,
and advertisement.
and parkour is something. Parkour is kind of quite cool, you know. And I wanted to do some stuff, but okay, I learned wushu martial arts last time. But the thing is, parkour is something that it is mental because it's a mental barrier. You may come to a point if you want to jump off from here to there. That kind of courage, it cannot be built. I don't know. That's Aaron's cup of tea.
So, we're gonna cover that.
Yeah. So do stay tuned for the next episode where you will see Aaron in action, and you will see what Brookes will do in his entrepreneurial journey. Yeah, so do stay tuned. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, peace out. Cheers, thank you. Alright, but thank you so much for watching OARS channel. You have met Aaron and you have met Brookes. There are more description down below, and this is the first video. Thank you for your time, and I hope that each and every one of you all have already identified some of the key values that Aaron and Brookes have shared with you, and how they are actually coming together to impact the community. So do check out OARS website. The website is down below to be part of this community, to have an open environment. Should you ever find that you face any issues, or do you find that there are problems in your life, do join this community, because all of us are all within the same age, and we understand how you feel, and we know how to get you the relevant help if you ever need. Yeah, peace out. Cheers.